session this morning is one of three series for the course of today. And it is basically a Women's Day event, SuSanA Women's Day event. We had a similar one in March of this year, a day before Women's Day itself. And people wanted to see more of these interactions happening. And that is why SuSanA is again here together, creating a stronger together environment for women in the water and sanitation sector. That said, the first session is looking at advancing your career through engaging learning opportunities. So basically what this is just that, being able to share, being able to learn together, being able to engage as women professionals in the sector. And we have a lineup of very strong women that are going to speak this morning. And we can move to the next slide just to see what the program is like. And it's the only slide we have based on the introductions. So we should be able to have the first presentation that will look at Arab Women in Water and Sanitation Network by Hind Aushdifat. I could have had a time to have those engagements with the pronunciations of the names, but I'll be forgiven this morning. I think that's what comes with the diversity in the room. And then we'll have a sharing of opportunities by different representatives from different sector institutions. We'll have Rural Water Supply Network represented by Melissa Nauton. And then we'll have IRC, Jeske Verhoeven. Then we'll have IHE, Jelstje Kamermerk. And then we'll also look at the agenda for change by Alec Shannon. And this is a pre-recording. She couldn't be with us this morning, but that session has been pre-recorded. And then finally, we have SuSanA by Daphne Manolakos. And then we'll get into our Q&A session. That said, we invite Hind to begin with the Arab Women in Water and Sanitation Network presentation.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the invitation, and thank you so much for the introduction as well. I will share the presentation, or it will be shared by the organizer.
The presentation should be coming up on your screen shortly.
Yeah.
Hind, if you prefer to share your screen, you can as well. It's up to you.
Okay, then I will share my screen.
Okay.
Okay.
I hope you can see it.
Yes.
Yes, we do see it. Perfect.
Okay, good. So good morning, everyone. I'm so happy that I'm joining this very interesting call to empower women in the water and sanitation sector. Recently, in the Arab countries, we launched the Arab Women in Water and Sanitation Network to gather and to strengthen women working in these two important sanitation in the Arab countries. Why was this network created at the first point? During the World Water Week last year, I was pleased to attend the Women Gathering evening. And there was a lot of networks from different areas in the world. And all of these, the African Women in Water for the WASH Network, African Women in Sanitation Professionals, the Latin countries, the European countries, and I was the only woman representing the Arab countries. So I felt that it is my responsibility to take up this role and to go back to Jordan and to try to connect the women in the Arab world to be a partner for these sister networks. As you know that in the Arab world we have 22 countries. We speak in the Arab world. Maybe this is also one advantage of us, that we speak all languages. We speak English, French, Latin, and Arabic. And while discussing the network with other network in the world, I found that the most likable language in the other networks is Arabic. So looking into the Arabic language, you cannot find it everywhere. So it was also kind of a simulator to look into the network for the Arab words. What opportunities does it offer for women? I think we just try to follow what other networks are doing. So in the Arab world, we have, women working in water and sanitation. We had a lot of engineers, professors, doctors, people in the different sector when it comes to all related issue to water and sanitation. So the idea comes that we could offer our local knowledge. There should be also a community engagement. We have kind of a specific gender needs in the Arab world that comes with the religious background, with cultural background. All of these so are more specific than it's in, I would say, in Europe or other countries. Empowering women also in the Arab world, I felt it is also our responsibility for women who are holding position in the water and sanitation sector to show role model for other ladies joining these very important sectors. It will offer kind of sustainability. We could also play a role in policy and advocacy for the water and sanitation. And I assume that with policy, we had to work a lot in the Arab world in different countries, how to give women more role in this very important aspect. And this is, and the most of all that, as I said, our very specific knowledge in the Arab world, shortage of water resources, hygiene issue, sanitation issue could also be benefit for us to share and also to share it with other sister networks in the international level. The opportunities in our network, as I said, we just started. So the launching was during August 2023. And by launching our event, we had a couple of very energetic, very powered women who wants to do something for the network and who want to do something for the women in our region. So we assume that it will be like, we will be very presentative and we will define needs and needs for our specific cultural backgrounds. We have a lot of experience also to share beyond our borders, and with other networks. We could also benefit all other countries from our experience in the region, and also considered in the decision-making process. So all of this opportunity would come and would be, we will try to emphasize on them during the presence in our network. How to join, and I received this information a lot via the social media when we launched our event, and finally we have our email address. Women could reach to us. They could register in our network. It's on a voluntary base. Our network, we don't have any kind of, because there was a lot of a question regarding registration, how they registered. It is a voluntary based network. We ask women to provide us with their with the experience they have. So the network will be based on experiences, on lesson learned from those women. That will be the main, I would say, charger for the network to enlarge it. So anyone who would reach to us or would even benefit from the experience in the Arab world from our network should reach to us via this email. And maybe just to add on this regard, we will have our also we developed our terms of references, how and it will be shared with everyone who's interested to joining our network. We will be offering also online sessions. We will be trying to connect to different network, and we will have joint sessions with them. We are waiting for our next meeting where we have the establishment and the kickoff of our LinkedIn page, social media pages, and eventually trying to develop kind of logo for our network, taking in consideration all the aspects I said in my presentation. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hind, for that awesome presentation. And I'm glad to see of the African logos there. I think that's amazing to see that collaboration taking shape. So we really appreciate your presentation this morning. And I'm sure the ladies that are attending from the region are aware and will be willing to join.
Yeah.
Thanks. That said, we'll get into the next session, looking at opportunities, and we should be able to start with Melissa Nolt from Rural Water Supply Network. Again, apologies for the pronunciations, and I'll allow Melissa to properly give her intro and jump into the presentation.
Thank you so much. Chira, can you hear me okay? Can you hear me well?
Perfect.
Yeah, can you see my screen? Yes. Great. So
we see you too. Yeah, the screen
yeah,
not yet
super.
Up. There it is.
Good. Okay, so my name is Melissa Norton, and I work for the Secretariat of the Rural Water Supply Network. And I'm just going to present this morning the mentoring program we have been running for 4 years now. So just before us, just wanted to present what the network is. So it's perhaps one of the only networks this morning that is not women only. It's a network that is dedicated to practitioners that are active in rural water supply and has been around since 1992. And you can see the website here if you're interested in finding out more, and as well you can become a member if you're interested in the topic. And we have been running a mentoring program for the water sector, not just the rural water sector. So anyone interested in, WASH, water resources management, sanitation, anything related to water really can apply. In the mentoring program is run in 3 languages, English, French, and Spanish. And we've had each year hundreds of applicants, but we've been limited in, how many we can take on. But in fact, the lowest number we've had, has been 150 participants, and the maximum number has been 550 participants. The way it works, initially this mentoring program was very much targeted at young professionals, so men and women under the age of 35. But after running the program for a year or two, women approached us and said, could you perhaps open it up to women of all ages, because I've had a career break or I've been on maternity leave and I'm finding it hard to get back to work. And we thought this was a great idea. And so we opened it up to women of all ages to be mentor or mentees since 2021. And since this year, we also open it up to alumni of specific courses that we support through the network. So men and women of all ages who have gone through the courses related to solar pumping or groundwater development, groundwater management. And we strongly encourage women to be mentors and mentees in the program. And I should just explain this also. It's quite a large-scale mentoring program, like hundreds of participants each year. And in the initial first couple of years, we did the matchmaking manually. So we would receive, applications from mentors and mentees, and then we would spend weeks and weeks trying to match them up, which was very resource intensive and difficult then to scale. And so since 2021, we've used a platform called Pushfar, which is, I always describe it like a mix of LinkedIn and Tinder or whatever your favorite dating app is. So basically, you create a profile, which is a bit like a LinkedIn profile, where you explain what you're doing, where you want to go, why you applied to the mentoring program, what your objectives are, everything about yourself. It doesn't take very long, maybe 5-10 minutes. And then you receive suggestions. So from the platform, so the kind of algorithm looks at what you've put into your profile and tries to match you with mentors or mentees. And I should say as well that there's an option to be both a mentor and a mentee. So you can, if you fulfill, as long as you fulfill the criteria, you can be either mentor or mentees. And then it's a bit like a dating platform. You swipe, right or left, you accept or you decline, or you get in touch with the person, you ask them more questions, maybe have an initial call to see whether you're a good fit for each other, and then you basically find your mentor or your mentee yourself. So who do we have this year? So this year we have about 250 participants from 66 countries. I should say we sold out, so we reached capacity within a week. It's just every time it is like this. So we open up for applications, we publicize it through our network, and then we have a lot of people apply to be mentors or mentees in the program. 86% of those participants are from non-OECD countries, and 92% of participants have backgrounds other than white. We started only monitoring this a couple of years ago because someone made the point that perhaps we were only really helping people who were already from developed countries or perhaps at an advantage, and we wanted to check whether this was true or not. So actually it isn't. We try the people who apply naturally, because the network is quite has a lot of people from the global south, tend not to be from those countries. So which is good overall. I think there is a little mistake in the gender box, that I think it's 45% female and 55% male. Sorry about that. I think the column got inverted. But we have a good representation of both male and female participants. We have to say, in terms of female participants, 90% of them are under the age of 35 and only 10% over the age of 35. So we still have, we don't have a lot of senior women who take up the advantage, like the opportunity of being in this program as mentees. But we have a lot of senior women who do apply to be mentors, and we have very good female mentors in the program. And then 30% of our participants are alumni of the courses I mentioned earlier, like solar pumping, groundwater, and drilling. The timeline, so we opened applications in April, and then we give people a couple of months to find each other. So people find each other on Pushfar, and then we start with onboarding webinars. We share some guidance on what people can do in the mentoring program. And we ask people to fill out a mentoring agreement form where they say basically what the objectives of the mentoring program is for them personally, how often they will meet and how. And so they sign that and they send it back to the Arlington Secretariat. We then run an assessment of the mentoring program, which we have just concluded this week, and we're just looking at the analysis now. And then in November, we close the platform, and people can decide whether they want to continue the mentoring program outside of the platform, or whether they're happy with what they've done so far and they don't want to continue. And our main indicator of success is whether people are satisfied with their relationship, which is what we measured through our mid-year assessments. So to learn more and to join, so the next intake, as we said, we're full, we fill up very quickly. There's a lot of interest in this program. So we would very much like to run it again next year. It's one of our priorities. We are looking for funding to do this now. It isn't a lot of funding, but it's still something that we need because the platform Pushfar isn't free, so we need to pay for it. We can give you more information about the mentoring program in the chat box. And also, if you want to join the next round of the mentoring program, we would encourage you to join the network to find out about the launch. And if you're a young professional, you can join also our young professionals community. Thank you, and I'd be happy to answer any questions later.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you for that presentation. And yeah, a round of applause over there. And with that said, let me point you to the chat as well. If you are following and you want access to the links that Melissa has mentioned, Elaine has just shared those in the chat. So you should be able to click and get more information on the mentoring session. That said, we will move on. I think time is running quite quickly. And our next presenter from IRC is Jeske. And Jeske, you have the floor. Should be looking at Wash Systems Academy, building strong wash systems together.
Yeah, hi, good morning. Can you see my screen as well?
Yes, we see it.
Yes. So, hi, I'm Jeske, and I work for IOC. And this morning, let me see if it works for my screen. I'll be introducing the WASH Systems Academy to you. What is it? And what are opportunities for you? And join us. So, our tagline actually of the WASH Systems Academy is building strong systems together. And the tagline of this session is stronger together. So we're very much in sync with that, as we believe that in order to deliver sustainable water sanitation services to all, it requires all the different people who are in the WASH system to come together, playing their own individual roles. So that's from local government to civil society, politicians, the private sector, and absolutely you too. Women are a very important part of strong WASH systems that are needed to deliver sustainable services to all. But what do we actually mean with a strong WASH system? What is that? So I'm just going to give you a moment to actually think about that. So I think we probably all have used the toilet this morning already. And, you know, think about what it actually took for you to be able to use that toilet today. What are all these different elements or factors that needed for you to be able to do that? And you can put that in the chat if you like, or you can just think about it. So I'm just going to give you one moment to actually think about that. Okay, so while you think about that, you feel free to put anything in the chat. I see Hint already put water availability, absolutely. That's one of those elements. I'm going to continue to say, okay, so all these elements required that are now investment, water pipe, privacy, absolutely. All these different elements required to provide a water sanitation or hygiene service, from that engineers that designed the water supply in order to have the water available, for the pipes that might have been laid, to the person who operates the water treatment plant and the national water sanitation policy. All those people together form the WASH system behind this provision of water sanitation, drinking water. And that is what we refer to as the WASH system. WASH system is all these different actors and factors that are needed, and the links between them that are needed to deliver sustainable services. It's a dynamic network. This WASH system is a really dynamic network of all these human and non-human elements that are needed for strong systems, and we need to very much look beyond infrastructure. So it's really nice to see as well that in the chat I see non-infrastructure elements, because it's all that is needed together. It's all these actors and factors, from policy, from financing, from monitoring, but also thinking about from civil society to good universities to national policy making and engineers. There's all those different people together that are needed to deliver sustainable services. So what is then the WASH Systems Academy? We saw that you could do masters online on systems thinking, and you could do a lot of courses available on, for example, things like solar pumping or wastewater management. But we saw that there wasn't a place that brought those two together, that actually brought systems thinking and water sanitation service delivery together. So what we created is a free online learning platform, sharing the resources, the knowledge, the tools of so many organizations from around the world who are working towards strengthening of systems. So the WASH Systems Academy is a free online collaborative platform dedicated to sharing knowledge and resources on systems thinking. So we launched in September 2019, and we're now almost 4 years old. At the moment, we have over 7,000 registered users from 125 different countries, and 95% of our users are recommending our courses. So one of the new things that we started measuring as well, we want to be useful, is that people are saying that 85% of our users are now saying within a couple of months, within 6 months after taking our courses, they're actually using that content to improve their work. And that is really what we aim to do, is that we want to give people knowledge and tools and resources that can help you to actually improve the job that you're doing towards more sustainable services. So we started with a basic course of 16 hours in English, which is now also available in 8 hours in English and in French, and soon Spanish and Russian are coming as well. That explains what is system strengthening and what's your own role in it. And that's our foundational course. And from that, we also offer more specialist courses on different elements of the system. Think finance, costing, planning. So we have users from all over the world that join us, and actually 50%, half of our users have between 0 and 5 years working experience, are quite new to water and sanitation service delivery, and the other 50% has 10 years plus. So it's quite of a mixed bag. Also, a lot of people who are new to the wash sector come in for our basic course on system strengthening and then follow up with more in-depth courses. And people who have work experiences often also come for our specialist courses. So what are some of the key features of our platform? The most important thing, actually, we want to make it fun and interesting and engaging. So the key features is that you always connect with others. There's lots of forum discussions. It's available on your phone. 30% of our users are actually following our courses on their phone, but we also have offline functionality for people who are struggling with internet connection. We have a mini podcast series of short podcasts of 3 to 5 minutes from people all over the world sharing their experiences with building strong systems. We have lots of animations that explain key concepts that you can also then use in your own work to explain something to somebody else. It has examples from 50+ contexts, but I must say we are missing examples from the Arab world. So I'm very happy to now know about the network. So I would definitely like to connect to add more examples from the Arab world. You can use it as part of workshops and on-the-job support, where, for example, you do in the beginning of a workshop a short online course, and then you go into how to do that in practice, and you always earn a certificate. And the certificate, there's different organizations who do different courses, so always the different organizations are represented on the certificate. What are opportunities for you? So these are an overview of all the different courses we have available, from wash system strengthening, the basics explaining what system strengthening actually means in English and in French, to the building blocks of sustainable wash systems, explaining each building block in much more detail, from finance to planning and monitoring and policy and regulation. We have a specific course on finance as one of the key building blocks of the wash system. We also have a course on costing sustainable services in English and French, on fundraising, specifically for NGOs and CSOs, on market-based sanitation in English and French, on district planning, social art for behavior change in English, Spanish, and French. We also do custom-made courses for specific regions. So we have a course for Ethiopia, Rwanda, Uganda, Ghana, but also for fragile context or West Africa in French, of course. And then we have multiple courses that are in development. A course, for example, on how to drive change. How do you make change happen, actually? We're working at the moment on wash system strengthening in Spanish, which is almost going to be live next month, in Afan, Oromo, and Amharic, 2 local languages in Ethiopia. We don't have Arab language. We would love to have that. We're working on Russian at the moment. And
on the surface.
Sorry.
Oh.
I think that's not meant for me. So we are working on wash system strengthening for Asia and the Pacific, and we're going to do that in English and Russian. We're also working on the building blocks in French and finance in French. So those are some of the things that are coming. All these courses are available on the Wash Systems Academy for free, self-paced, self-guided. Anybody can start and join at any point. We also offer it, so we offer all the courses free, self-paced, self-guided. Online courses are between 4 and 16 hours. And if you have any questions, you can email us and we'll try to help you as best as we can. We also provide these online courses together with webinars and group work, all online as well. What we call structured support is that you follow the online course together with a mixture of live webinars or workshops, adapted content, group work, and a WhatsApp group for people to communicate. And we also do it as full-scale blended learning, where people actually meet physically in a room, and the online course is part of a physical training together as well with group work and a WhatsApp group. And that usually takes between 1 to 5 days. So how can you be part of this solution to wash system strengthening? You can join us and start any course with 3 easy steps. You go to our website, www.washsystemsacademy.org, and you select new account. You create your own account. You always have to put in an email address and confirm your account. And that's what happens. What sometimes goes wrong is that people, it might end up in your spam. So that's one of the things, just to always, when you create an account, just to make sure that to press to confirm your account with the email that is sent to the email address that you put in. And then you can select any of our free courses and start anytime, anywhere. And if you have any questions, you can always email us as well at training@icwash.org.
Great. Thank you so much for that presentation, Jeske. And I think there's a lot of applaud as well that has come through, some appreciation for the presentation. And I'm sure there will be a lot of questions. I do have some questions, a lot of questions after this session that would probably address a few of your outcomes there. And great platform. That said, we will not stay too long. We have to move ahead. So we have a lot of time for the engagements and these conversations. All right, okay, I see. Yeah, pardon me if my camera is a little bit sticky. I do have some challenges with my connection on this side, but I hope you're able to hear me and understand me well. That said, we will move on to the next presenter. We have IHE, that's the Delft Institute for Water.
Yes.
And represented by Jeltje. I hope I got that right.
Very good. Thanks a lot. I'm very happy to be here with all of you. I am Jeltje Emering-Seyoum. I'm an associate professor at IHE Delft on water governance and justice, so also working myself a lot on gender issues in my own research and education. So very close to my heart, this network and this initiative. So I'm very happy to be here. Next slide. IHE Delft. IHE Delft is one of the largest international graduate education institutes in Delft, offering master programs on water, but also PhD research. And in addition to that, also many online courses and short courses, and also many free available courses on our website. We are already existing for quite a while, and therefore we also have a very large network of alumni all over the world, especially in Africa, Asia, and Latin America, including the Middle East, by the way. I think that's one of the biggest advantages of being connected with IHE, that we have such a huge network all over, which of course means that if you graduate or are in collaboration with us in projects, you don't only work with us, but also with many of the partner organizations that we have established over the years. Next slide, please. What I actually wanted to show today is that also gender is still an issue at our own organization. So we are very aware of the need to invest in this kind of networks and this kind of collaborations. In our own organization, we see that, for instance, in the academic departments, there are more men than women, especially when you look more at the engineering departments and the natural sciences department. While in the management units, the support units, we see more women who are doing secretarial work or other support student affairs. Yet at the higher management positions, again, it are mainly men. We are of course changing this and trying to work hard on it, but this is just showing that also within our own organization it's still a challenge, and that is what we also notice in many of the partner organizations with whom we work around the world. Also, when you look at our student populations, the MSc students and PhD students, you see that there are more men than women here, even though it's much better than it was a few years ago. Yet you also see here that among the social sciences, there are more women, and on the natural science and engineering, there's still more men. So we're trying to really actively address these issues to make sure that in the future, there are many strong women in engineering and natural sciences, but also men in social sciences, because I think it's also very good to involve men in questions of gender and social justice. So one of the things that we really try to establish and efforts we invest in getting fellowships, particularly earmarked for women. So some of the fellowship programs that we collaborate with and that are available through our websites are particularly looking for strong female candidates. So if you yourself have the wish to continue studying master or PhD, or in your networks or in your organizations know early career people who are women who really want to advance their career, please recommend them to have a look at our webpage so that they can also see what is available in terms of funding possibilities. The next slide, please. So since last year, we actually started a new master program in water and sustainable development. Before we had more separated programs, one on water governance, one on environmental management, one on water engineering and sanitation. But now we have one program in which students can follow their own trajectory. So they can really personalize and tailor make their curriculum so that it really suits their career paths and their needs. Many of the students who come to IHE are mid-career professionals, so they already have their bachelor degree. They have worked sometimes up to 10 years in the water sector and then come to do their master program. So they already have a lot of background knowledge, and this is really meant to help them make a curriculum or make an educational program that really suits their needs and their ambitions for the future. We have a one-year program, but also a two-year program that focuses more on in-depth research and prepares more for an academic career. I think one of the important features of this new program is that we have active career coaching for all students that enroll in the program. So they really will be guided by a senior staff member here at IHE to really think through what do they want in the future, what are their opportunities, what are their constraints, and how can we link them up, for instance, to our alumni network in their own region, in their home countries. So we are very happy with this new program, and there are scholarships available. So if you are interested, please have a look at our webpage. The next slide. Another very important part or program that I would like to emphasize is the Water and Development Partnership Program. That's actually the program that I coordinate on IHE side. It's basically funding that we get from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs here in the Netherlands, and that we aim to invest in joint collaborative research and capacity development activities in different parts of the world, particularly in the Sahel region, in the Horn of Africa, and in the Middle East, but also in other parts of the world. And this program, we really believe that there is a need to bring together many different people from many different kinds of organizations, ranging from universities to NGOs, CSOs, government agencies, private sector, and to really bring those diverse knowledges together to be able to solve water problems in an inclusive and environmental sustainable manner. So there's a lot of emphasis on inclusive collaboration and diversity in bringing together people who conduct research and not just at universities, but really also engaging those who are facing the problems themselves. The program funds actually very inter and transdisciplinary projects, either on research, education, or capacity strengthening. And we have very specific targets set for involvement of women. So we strive that our projects are mainly women-led, and I'm very happy to see that so far we succeed in this. But also within the projects itself, the teams need to be very diverse, including many women, and opportunities, for instance, for fellowships or for education or for research doing PhD are really targeting women. Unfortunately, many of our calls actually already passed, so many of our projects are already selected. We have still a few calls coming up, for instance, one in April 2024. But I also know that many of our projects are actually still looking for partners in certain regions, or are, for instance, having MSc and PhD fellowships available. So there are lots of other opportunities to also get still involved. Moreover, from this program, we also will organize very regularly online events, seminars, a symposium this November. So there are many learning opportunities where you can get in touch with us and can join our networks. So if you have an interest in this particular program, I recommend you to send us an email, reach out to us, but also have a look at our website, and I will also share a few more links. Next slide, I think. So that's it from my side. Join us, link up with us, and I hope to see many of you involved in our activities. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ilse. That was also a very good presentation. Again, some good outcome opportunities there for sector, women in the sector, and specifically calling out that more applications should come from women. I think we do need to change those numbers and make sure they're well balanced. Thank you for that slide as well on the statistics.
I'm just sharing a few links in this, also with examples of the kind of work we are doing, so that you can get an idea.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. I can see those in the chat. Let me also add that if questions already, I mean, conscious of time, do throw them in the chat. If we, in an event, we're not able to catch them virtually, we'll be able to read them out and maybe address them as we go during this session. If they cannot be addressed during the session, we should be able to address them after this session. That said, we have another presenter lined up. Alec is not joining us virtually, but has a pre-recorded presentation that has been shared. So we should have that up in, there it is. Yes, so Alec is representing the Women in WASH mentorship program under the Agenda for Change, and should give us an account of what sort of opportunities are available under this program. Right, we can cue video.
Hello, everyone, and greetings from the U.S. My name is Alex Shannon, and I'm the Deputy Coordinator of the Agenda for Change Consortium. Today, I'm going to be telling you a little bit about our Women in WASH mentorship program. So the impetus for this program, which was very similar to what you see depicted in this photo here, is that we know as a global field of practice, WASH still remains very male dominated, especially when it comes to decision making and financing. Those decisions are not usually made with women in mind or women at the table. We also know that women face difficult workplace conditions and are often held to a separate standard than men. And at the same time, our sector is facing increasing human resource and financing constraints that mean we need to keep expanding our workforce. And so, arising from conversations with many women professionals across the sector, we came up with the idea for a mentorship program specific to WASH, led by women and for women. And it was specifically designed to keep young career professionals climbing the WASH career ladder. The main idea being that this young professional had someone to lean on, the same gender as them, who had adequate knowledge and experiences, connections, and mechanisms for guiding and support that would help them grow in their careers. Speaking of the first cohort, these young women were the first 20 to go through the program. In most cases, 2 women were paired with one mentor. So they also had a peer mentee that they could work with throughout the program. And each mentee was asked to try and meet with her mentor at least once a month for an hour. So 60-minute meetings for up to 6 months. So how did it go? We are now past the end of the program. It finished up in late July, and mentees have been evaluated and asked to tell us what they thought. They told us that 95% of them were able to achieve specific goals throughout the program. And pictured here is a copy of the mentoring action template that they were given at the beginning. They also said that the program helped them to find new roles in the sector and even to secure new jobs in the case of 3 mentees, new skills through training that they were recommended by their mentors, and also increasing their networks. In this case, one of our mentees said that she was able to increase her following on LinkedIn, but I also know from other anecdotes that mentees were able to be connected through their mentor to other women professionals and to other groups in the sector. As far as next steps, we are more towards the left of this graphic for now. We are thinking of the next cohort, and it will be bigger, more likely much bigger than the pilot. So we're trying to figure out how we will manage that now. We also know that there are other great sector mentorship programs out there. And it's all about linking up with those programs and those women's chapters as well to see how we can deliver an even more effective and collaborative program. I would also say that since Agenda for Change is a global consortium, we do have a lot of expertise at the national level, and we see a big value add in being able to leverage that expertise and link up with national level mentoring programs. And in a few cases, we are testing out how this might look and how that might work with a few organizations in countries around the world. So we'll have to stay tuned to see what happens there. Speaking of collaboration, if any of you watching this have ideas, questions, or comments on anything to do with what I've shared today or how we might collaborate on future cohorts of the mentorship program, please don't hesitate to get in touch. And these are my details if you'd like to reach out to me. Finally, we also have a dedicated webpage for the mentorship program online, and you can find more information there as well. Thanks for your attention, and a special thank you to SuSanA for the invitation to speak to you all today. Take care.
Great. Thank you for that share. And we will move along in the interest of time. I can see Daphne is already showing her screen, her face. Daphne is a colleague of mine from the Sustainable Sanitation Alliance, and she will be giving us a little bit more about what SuSanA is doing with respect to opportunities for women in the sector. And Daphne, you have the floor.
Oops, I hope you can hear me now.
We can hear you.
And
perfect.
You can also see my screen. I only prepared one slide because I wanted to give some impressions. First of all, thank you everyone for joining today's Water Women's Day. My name is Daphne Manolakos. I'm part of the SuSanA Secretariat and the Junior Advisor at GIZ. And for anyone who is joining today, new and hasn't heard about SuSanA before, we are the Sustainable Sanitation Alliance, an informal network of organizational partners and individual members who all share the common vision, which is sustainable sanitation, and who all want to contribute to achieving the sustainable sanitation goals, specifically SDG 6. And as you can see on the slide, SuSanA, we are also part of the Stronger Together initiative and also co-hosts together with several other women networks. We co-host these women networks, women mingles and networking events in the past, jointly together with women networks around the world of the water and sanitation sector. And the reason why we are doing this is clear when you look at the massive capacity and the gender gap in the water and sanitation sector. And when you also look into recruitment processes, when you look into different levels of water and sanitation jobs, and also if you look into inequalities in the access of equal education and barriers in the application of recruitment processes. And in order to achieve this, in order to also achieve SDG 6, by 2030, it is imperative that we all address this massive capacity gap, this gender gap in the water and sanitation sector in order to bridge this gap, and therefore we need to recruit and retain more women in WASH jobs. And that's why SuSanA, together with women networks, jointly organized various formats and meetups to provide women this opportunity to connect, to share experiences, and also to gain valuable insights from both young but also senior water and sanitation professionals. And that is why this initiative has started actually last year, and now has rapidly grown into a great opportunity for women in the WASH sector. And as you can see on the slide, this year we have organized already several mingle and networking events, such as the first Water Women's Day in March. Then we also had several mingling and networking events. One at the IRC All Systems Connect symposium in the Netherlands. We had a women's mentoring breakfast at the Global WAPS Congress in Bonn in Germany. And lately, we also had a networking and mingle event evening in Stockholm during the World Water Week. So yeah, we definitely want to continue with these mingle and networking events because we see it as a great opportunity to feel united, to be active together in the water and sanitation sector with women around the world. And I also like to point out, I haven't put it on a separate slide, but SuSanA is also currently implementing a blog feature around different topics on water and sanitation, and we also want to make a call to different women in the sector to write down their stories. And also have the opportunity to write an article for this blog feature. We will make an open call in the discussion forum and on SuSanA soon. So yeah, stay tuned on that. And back to you, Chaive. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Daphne. And that concludes our presentations this morning. Quite a lot of content there shared in such a short amount of time, but very relevant for all of us. I think even from my own perspective, really great opportunities that are out there. Great that, you know, we have this platform that is creating that visibility and allowing women in the sector to be able to seize these opportunities that are available. I'm looking at the chat and I realize there isn't any questions. That could be a good